and welcome to the special edition of Diecast Graveyard. My name is Paul. We have been challenged by the design and build group Three Blind Mice, who has challenged the diecast community to customize a 1956 Chevy Flashsider pickup truck. And I says, well, that sounds like a lot of fun. So we're going to accept that challenge and see what we can do. There's a lot of great builders out there, but I think we can give them a run for the money. Let's get started. Once we get the truck taken apart and the post drilled, we have to get the paint off. So here it goes in the paint stripper, the citrus strip, and we're going to let it sit for about 30 minutes. The stuff does work pretty good, and you can get it at your local Walmart. It's about $11 a bottle. After about 30 minutes, you can see how the paint is bubbled up. What it looks like it'll come off really easy. Use your stiff brush to take off the paint that's already bubbled up. Get as much of it off as you can, and then you're going to get it to the sink and you're going to scrub it down with some type of stiff brush, like a toothbrush or something like that. And then you're going to use some dish soap and scrub it down and get everything taken care of and get all the paint out of the nooks and crannies. Once you do take care of it at the sink, then you're going to dry it all off, and the next step you're going to do is to get your Scotch-Brite pad or your steel wool and rub it down just to make sure all the rough spots on your vehicle are taken care of. Here we're just going to start off with a little bit of steel wool, some 4/0 steel wool, and just smooth it out. Now, if you're going to use your Spectre Flame paint or your Nitro Flame paint from Bright Vision, then this is a really important step, because then you're going to polish it up and make it shine really good. But if you're going to put some type of an enamel coat over it or an opaque coat over it, you don't need to make it as shiny. You just need to make it smooth. That looks good. Now we're going to put the first layer of paint. Since we're going to be doing a military theme here, I want it to look like panels from an aircraft. So the first layer of paint I'm going to put down here is a darker silver. What I did is I used the base coat from the Redline shop, the base aluminum coat. And then once that's down, I'm going to pinstripe over it. You'll see as we go on here. So get a nice coat of the darker aluminum color. I want to take a little bit of time here to thank the Three Blind Mice for this challenge build. It's a lot of fun, and here's a little something for the mice.
Behold the power of cheese.
Now that we got that dark coat down, we're going to set up our striping here, and we're going to just place random tape on here to make it look like panels. Panels on an aircraft or something along those lines. I got this really thin pinstriping from Amazon.com, and we're just going to line it out really nice here, or like I said, just a random thing, but make sure it's laying down nice and flat. This is one of the more tedious portions of this. While we're at it, don't forget to hit that subscribe button and hit that little bell to be alerted to any future videos that come out. Like I said, here we are just putting random pinstripe on here just to make it look like panels. And then once we do that, we're going to go over it with a lighter aluminum paint to make it look like there's lines on the truck, just like you see here. Now we're going to cover it with a lighter aluminum paint. I was thinking I might want to find some thinner pinstripe tape, but it's really hard to find the really super thin stuff. You may have to cut it yourself. Now there is some out there. I believe this is 1/16 tape that I'm using. I'm going to try and find 1/32 to do this in the future. Once this is sprayed up, you're going to need to let it sit for a while.
Waiting for the paint to dry.
Now we're going to go back over it and give it a nice aluminum coat here. Keep moving your vehicle as you paint it. You don't want to get it too saturated. I mean, you want it to look wet, but you don't want it to drip, if that makes sense. Just make sure the truck is evenly coated. That's looking pretty good. We've gone ahead and we have removed all the tape now. And we're going to let this dry the rest of the day just to make sure that anything else you put on is nice and dry. Once that's done, now we're going to place on our decals. I'm using the decals. Some of these I made, some of them I found off of other decal sheets of other vehicles I've done. But we'll give it that nice Air Force theme. Now, when you're putting these decals on a light colored car, you might get away with using the clear based decals. If you're using a dark colored car or painted a dark colored car, you're going to need to use the decals with the white backing behind it, because those clear decals will just completely disappear on those vehicles if you use the clear decal paper. We're going to have a video here in the near future on decals, how to apply them, etc.
Several adult beverages later.
Once you get your decals on, we're going to clear coat it. Now you need to let that sit at least a day to make sure that all the water has dried up or evaporated underneath the decals. It doesn't do any good to spray clear coat over this if your decals are still wet. So you need to let it sit for at least a day. We're using a nice acrylic clear coat here. This clear coat here I picked up from the Redline shop, and it works fantastic. Just make sure that you follow the manufacturer's specifications when it comes to the mixing ratios of this paint or clear coat. But if you do that and follow their directions, your paint job will turn out fantastic. We're going to do a wheel swap here also. Now notice that the base of this now is chrome. What I did is I had another Flashsider pickup and I didn't get my super clean in time in order to strip the gold colored chrome off the other base. So I went ahead and I used this silver base instead. Now we're going to have to do some modifications to this to make sure the wheels fit and roll properly. Now as you can see, without cutting the axles, we're going to have to do some cutting of the body, or the base here, excuse me, to make sure that these wheels fit and roll properly. This is what we started with. This really cool looking Flashsider pickup with the gold base. But I didn't want the gold base, I wanted the silver base. And I really didn't care for the wheels either. But this is what we started with, and after we stripped it down, we painted it, we put the decals on there that we wanted to, we clear coated it, made a wheel swap and changed the base out. This is what we got. A really cool looking Air Force theme, Tiger Fighter with the shark's tooth grin, the beautiful girl riding the bomb on the hood of the truck, the bombs on the top of the truck, actually those are mortars, and then the Air Force symbol on the back tailgate. A little bit of detailing with the tail lights and the headlights in the front, but this car looks absolutely cool. Now, here's the best part. You have to be a subscriber, and then I want you to comment your favorite military service, Army, Navy, Air Force, Marines, or Coast Guard. It doesn't matter. comment your favorite service inside the comment block, and in a week's time we will draw one lucky winner of this vehicle. Thanks for tuning in to us today at Diecast Graveyard. My name is Paul. Have a great weekend, and I want to thank you, and Thanksgiving's coming up. Happy Thanksgiving. Cheers.